Well, I'm got so much stuff to do here. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. I finally got all the stuff I need for my brakes. So I think today I'm gonna clean up the brakes, install them. Not a very interesting job, and not really much to learn there. But basically I'm looking at the biggest parts of the car down to the smallest parts. I got to put a door hinge in there. I mean a door latch. And but the biggest hole I got is this trunk. So the trunk itself needs a little welding and TLC. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is finish up the trunk, figure out some way of hinging it, and at least get it where it'll set in here. I've got a drip rails here to build. I don't have any more metal. I used up all my metal. But maybe I'll try to make something. Not sure. But at any rate, the trunk lid needs to be fixed. So I think that'll be the next part here. I'll rebuild these brakes, hone out the cylinders, because I got brake fluid in my little pan over there, so I might as well do this brake fluid work first. So that's what I'll do. I'll rebuild these brakes, put them all together, see how it goes, and I'll try to mount this trunk. Well, that took a little doing. Everything in there was just rusty. I took all the pins over to the lathe, cleaned them up. I was able to break the brake bleeder screw loose and punched all the rust out of it, so it'll work now. Rebuilt the master cylinder. I got a little brake hone, and man, I just about chewed it up completely. Hopefully that'll be enough to do the other cylinder. It was way too big. I just barely got it to fit. But I've got all the rusty stuff here kind of cleaned up. And rust converted. Got my little brake arm down there. I didn't do anything with the brake shoes themselves, but while I was at it, I just went up into this wheel well here and did the best I could on it. Didn't really get the frame or anything. Anyway, that's one area that'll be done here. I don't know what it's gonna do putting these brakes right on these pads here. Maybe I'll just clean them off a little bit, just so they'll not really have a chance of binding and sticking. I don't think it'll make any difference. Once these brakes move, it'll start chewing them in pretty fast. But anyway, now I can go ahead and put the shoes and pads and hardware and stuff on. It's all pretty rusty too, so I'll converter it as I put it together. I got the new pad on the emergency brake. That's a small pad, goes in the back. I've done that before. Put the big one on the back, and I don't know how much difference it makes, but it's wrong. Anyway, I'll press on and get this back together. Well, that was kind of a pain in the butt. Got it all cleaned up and put together, and looking at my hardware, there was no adjusting screw in it down in the bottom. So I thought I'd go take the other one off, use it. They don't have one either. So I basically have this in. I got to put that adjusting screw in there, which is going to be kind of a trick. But I basically just put what I got here on. I'm just going to put the drum back on it and make sure that everything's right, or at least it'll go on and turn. I did get my master cylinder honed out. I don't really want to take the other one off right now because it's got all my springs on it, and I'm pretty sure this one was in backwards. They had the spring on the emergency brake bar over here on this side, and it won't go there. It has to go up there on that side, and the spring is really twisted around and warped. So I ordered a couple more adjusting screws. I don't know if they're the right ones. I think I got them for a Mustang or a Granada or something. I just picked a car that had this 8-inch rear end. So I don't know if I'll go over there and take the other one apart. But as I was playing around here trying to figure it out, my rust converter dried pretty good. So this fender well is good enough for now. Take a look at the other one, see what I want to do there. Well, I got that apart. That wasn't so easy to do either. Everything is rusted, just didn't want to come out. Looks like it's pretty loopy in here. You know, at least if it would have been leaking fluid or something, would have had some kind of lubrication. It's going to be trouble getting that out. But I'm going to try to spray it with some stuff and try to pound out that cylinder. Hopefully it won't mess up something getting it out. Even if I did, I could make another one out of aluminum. Anyway, this must have took me half hour to try to get out. It was just all rusted shut. And I'll have to pull them pins out, put them in the lathe, clean them up, do the same thing I did on the other one. First thing I'm going to do is get that cylinder out of there and see if I can hone it. Well, none of this worked out. I spent a lot of time getting the bore on this thing right. I got it where I thought it probably work. No use even showing you, but and then I knew the bleeder screw was going to be plugged up. So last one I put a little impact on it. It came right out. This one snapped right off. So that's the end of that. Looks like I got something on the camera lens. Not surprisingly. So it's a 90-23 11-inch for 11-inch brake drums. So, and also on this other end over here, I couldn't get this brake line out, and so I cut up that little brass block. I was able to relieve it, but I think I cut into my well, I know I cut into this flare right here. Whether I cut it bad enough to keep it from sealing, I don't know. I've got a flaring tool kit around here somewhere. And if I can't find one, I'll just have to buy another one. I got two of them. But when I started stashing this stuff, I kind of put it up in places where I thought I'd remember, but you know how that goes. I can't find stuff I had 5 minutes ago, much less 5 months ago. So anyway, I'm going to just try to buy another wheel cylinder altogether, and I can't get that brake line out either. I just heated it up, put vice grips on it and whacked it. That didn't work. So rather than mess with it, I'm just going to go ahead and get another a wheel cylinder. I've got plenty of brake line and fittings. If I have to make a brake line there, so be it. So that's kind of broaden the end of this brake project. But I have to get the wheel cylinder before I can put the brakes on, so I'll order that, see what gets here first. Well, I was looking at my trunk. It's about 1.5 inches thick. This is about 3 inches down to this rusted out place here, drip rail. So I took a piece of 1/2 inch stuff. And that fits in here pretty good. So what I'm gonna do, keeps wanting to fall out. Okay. Not gonna stay. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this bottom off, get rid of this rust, and clean up the side, and then I'm going to weld that piece of square stock in there real good. Try to tack it along the where I got good metal in here. And once that's welded in, I'll take my cutoff tool and cut the top of it out. And I think that'll be good enough for a grip rail. Won't look as good as this one because it's got a nice round edge on it. But I could put some little plastic chrome strip down there to keep from getting into any kind of a sharp edge. Might look pretty good on both of them actually. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do, is cut this all out, get the rust off of it, and weld in a piece. There it is, all clamped up. These clamps are all pretty good in a place where there's pretty good metal. So I'm going to try to weld up all the good metal I can, move my clamps in, or move them around, tack it all, you know, weld it an inch in each place, and then move it around and try to get as much of the good metal welded up as I can. And back in here, like where this is rusted out completely, I'm just gonna cut a little plate, clamp it in, and try to weld it as much as I can there with what's left of the good metal of the car. Now here it's mostly welded up. A lot of this is burning through. Like always, another shitty welding job. But I think I got it pretty much sealed in this area. I haven't done this patch down here yet, but I'm going to try to take a flapper wheel and take some of that off and then cut it out. I don't know whether it would be better to welding it to a solid edge or the square bar. I was kind of hoping the square bar wouldn't burn through and I could run the weld up onto the tin. Kind of worked out, kind of didn't work out. Guess the proof is when I grind it down. See how many holes I got left. Well, that worked pretty good. I used my cutoff tool. Really wouldn't work. Too much of an angle. You can see I got into the channel there. But a new cutoff tool and an electric grinder, it was big enough to go straight, so I was able to cut this pretty good. And then an old used flapper went inside of here, cleaned that up pretty good. I can try welding it up some more, and I think a new flapper disc will probably let me get this part here Or maybe I should use a grinder, you know, so I can use the edge. But this turned out all right. Don't really have any sharp edges. I'm going to cut it off right here like the other one, rather than trying to cut all this down in here. But I think I'm going to cut it first, and it seems to be maybe a better idea than trying to weld onto that square and then cut it. So anyway, I'm kind of out of gas. Need to sit down, have some milk, relax a minute. Well, thought I was pretty tired. When I laid down and took a nap, wife told me, "Man, you're really red." Yeah. So I probably had an hour of welding there with no helmet on. Kind of turned me pink.